how are you just so consistent, like the tide, night in and night out?
My whole life is consistent. Everything I do, from what I eat to when I sleep, to my recovery, to my loved ones, everything's consistent. And it's a routine for me at this point.
About how to be consistent. I mean, it's one thing saying it, but if you don't have the path for something, how do you expect that to be done? You feel me? A goal without a specific plan is just a dream. And I want to help you guys with some key things to think about and to overall highlight the entirety of a structure of things we get done in our lives. You know, we first have to have motivation, then stay consistent, discipline, and integrity to make sure we stay aligned. You know, integrity is a really important word. I think people look over. It's the ability to stay solid even when no one's looking. And last thing is structure. Now, how you gonna get that done if you have no plan? One thing that I want to start off is by defining motivation. That's a temporary, kind of spark to do something. You feel me? We can have motivation, and when it comes to cleaning up our room, washing the dishes, going to the gym, but these are all things that we think about subconsciously. You feel me? You don't have, consistent motivation. If that was the case, I can scroll on my phone, watch David Goggins videos every time I wake up, and feel that little motivational music, the Creed music or whatever. But it can't consciously be signaled. It's like the thing that we have in our bodies from experience. You feel me? You might see a girl that you like that's like so bad, 10 out of 10, and I genuinely want to make sure you start your path. Generally, that's been one of the cases in the time where I had to, lock in when I saw a reward. I couldn't get the reward, so what I look like as a man, crying about something that I can't get. I'm working better myself to get that, and that's kind of yin and yang. It's good and bad. You should be doing stuff for yourself, which I've done for too, but you shouldn't rely on the motivation of other people as your motivation. For example, women. You feel me? Women choose all the time. You feel me? Like, you can't get butthurt around the girl that you started this. Oh, I did all this for you. I got my body right. Shawty don't even know your name, bro. And as a man, I feel like that's a canon event. You feel me? Like, I'm not alone when it comes to that. Somebody gonna relate to me, but yeah. And it's the foundation for anything that you start, and it comes in waves with the start and the end. So when it comes to motivation, it's not useless, but it's not consistent. But it is useful for capitalizing on the journey that you want to take. And the next thing that it takes is discipline. Doing what needs to be done regardless of, how you feel or what happens in your day. It can be raining. One quote I like, I think his name is Mac Homie, but shit hard when the sun don't shine. Niggas gonna blame the clouds or the rain in the sky. And that's so hard because the sun gets up every single day and shines regardless, you feel me? But some days you know where to find the sun, but guess what? He's still up, bro. He's still up doing stuff. I hate to use, male pronouns, but I'm a dude, so I'm just saying. But he gets up every day and shines regardless of the sun. People gonna blame, oh, shoot, I can't run today. For me, like, it's raining, I'm gonna get wet and stuff like that, uncomfortable. Shoot, bro, like, you didn't get both your legs broken, bro. The sun is still shining regardless. It's gonna be raining away. And I find the rain as an analogy of people in the way. It's gonna be people that their whole purpose in your story and your life is to steer you off your path, you feel me? And I feel like that's one thing that we're gonna have roadblocks, but it's about getting through those roadblocks and still doing your job, aka shining through the rain, shining through the clouds that block your sky. You feel me? When it comes to that teacher that's, a bad teacher, stopping you from achieving your grade, bro, stop making excuses about that, bro. Like I said, no mercy for the weak. And I can admit sometimes it do get hard, but it's about remembering, when you started, and also, knowing your body, knowing when it's time to stop. You feel me? Like, it's okay to have rest days. It's okay to, see one day and be like, I genuinely need a mental health day, but not every day is like that. It's one thing I want to, emphasize as a man that goes through, my own mental struggles and everything that I have going on in my life. Every day is not like that. One day I'm gonna wake up and feel shitty. Another day I'm gonna wake up and feel good. It's all about getting the job done. And integrity is doing the right thing when no one's around to look at it. I remember that, those little posters, I don't know where they got them posters, but they used to spam those in elementary school and high school, just those posters that be up and be saying stuff like, this is a one Yoda thing. It was a Yoda poster, I forgot what it said, but it's about integrity, doing the right thing when no one's there to watch you. I want to use the analogy of, if the tree falls in the forest and nobody's trying to hear it, does it make a sound? And that's the thing, it does make a sound. That's the analogy of, if you're doing all this work, You're sweating like shit, going through all this pain. You're sore, you're tired, you're exhausted, putting in all the work that you have to your workout or your studying or whatever you got to do. Doesn't matter. It does matter, because that bonds you and that builds the building blocks that is needed for to 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 fund your story. You feel me? Like, this is a journey, you know. And what better story would that be to find out you went through the hardships and you overcame them rather than succumbing to your own desires, you know? Like I said in the last video, one of the most powerful things to capture is your mind. Feel me? Once you capture your mind, bro, you're a bad dog, bro. Mind you, like, we're spawned on this earth without our discretion, in control of this one body. And to be able to capture the one thing that you don't ultimately own and that you didn't ask for, that's so powerful. You feel me? Because that's so powerful. I just wanted to emphasize that. But one thing that I find to stay motivated and to stay disciplined is having reinforcements. When it comes to the people in your life, the people you hang around in your environment, one thing that's really important that people, you know, skim over is the importance of your environment. You know, I want to use an analogy of you don't shit where you eat. My lab professor, I had a deep talk with, bro, just one day after class. I was like, yo, how do you stay motivated to stay disciplined to be able to study and be able to do this? I've always been a smart kid in my life, but, you know, I've never understood the people that, you know, go to coffee shops and study, you know, do this and study that, don't study in the room, that just be out venturing. You feel me? Like, this is, mind you, 4 weeks. I was thinking about this my whole life up until 4 weeks ago. You know, we see the memes of the person that, oh, they get a fresh MacBook, you know, all of a sudden they got to study it anywhere. I'm on a MacBook right now. People might think that, you know, I'm not letting other opinions judge me, but that's a funny thing to think about. But, yeah, and it's about the analogy of you don't shit where you eat, you feel me? Like, that's so powerful, meaning that in your room, you do everything in your room. Me personally, I eat at my desk where I play video games at. What else do I do at my desk? I used to study at my desk all the time. And, you know, in bed, I used to watch TikTok instead of being, like, sleeping. And ultimately, you know, twisting that purpose is, you know, reprogramming your body to be succumb to other things. Like, when you're studying and you have your game right there, you're going to not put in your 100% effort. Even though you might think you are, you might not put in your 100% effort to do that one thing because you have all these distractions around you. If you always, before you get in bed, you scroll TikTok 30 minutes, and one day you want to automatically go to sleep, like, your body's not going to be like that. Like, yo, it's TikTok time, you feel me? That's why you got to set one purpose for one thing and stick to that, you feel me? Like, if you got a video game at your desk and you only want to game at your desk, game at your desk. Have your bed only for sleeping. Have the toilet only for shitting. Like, don't be wasting time on TikTok or whatever, because you have to make it inconvenient for yourself to pleasure yourself. I was watching The Minorities, and I forgot bro's name, but I think Zeb said you have to make it inconvenient for yourself to pleasure yourself. And that's so powerful. You feel me? Like, if you're studying in one room, you have to make it inconvenient for yourself to go out and scroll TikTok when you have a break. Even if you're studying for 1 hour and you're like, I'm gonna have a 15-minute break or whatever, you have to go outside the room. So that way you're programming your mind to think, yo, I'm outside the room, it's time to you know, chill. When I'm inside the room, it's time to lock in. And that's so important. And to have reinforcements, not only your family, not only your friends, and, you know, taking care of your environment. You know, if I'm in a study room, I'm gonna have that reinforcement of my environment, and, you know, automatically knowing why I'm here and knowing what needs to get done. Music too. I'm a big music guy, but music is really powerful and it's really helpful. You know, I believe it could also cloud your real emotions, because if you're drowning yourself out in music and really don't know how to feel about a situation, you know, that's harmful. That brings apart the harms of, like, smoking too, because I don't think smoking is bad, but, like, overall clouding out how you should feel about a situation is the reason why I feel like some people with, like, a frontal lobe say it's bad. You feel me? Same thing with music, bro. If you always listen to music in a gym after you go through something, like, oh, I need to listen to this song, it can help you, but, you know, some things you gotta go through, some things you gotta feel. But positive reinforcements of, like, you know, while I'm on track, it's artists, you feel me? Like, I listen to 1AM, Baby Tron, even Steve Lacy, Lo-Fi, bro. I feel like that nigga when I listen to Atomic Vomit. You feel me? Because, like, it's like a cool song where I can actually, you know, feel like I'm that nigga and feel like, bro, nobody could tell me nothing, bro. Excuse my language, but I feel like I'm that dude, bro. And, you know, I don't know how somebody can listen to Baby Tron or 1AM and not get no money. You feel me? Like, that stuff that makes me want to get money, because I know I'm on my path. And just knowing I can relate to the lyric, you feel me? Like, I can hear him talking about popping on bands or whatever, and, you know, I have $100 to my name, not trying to save up, you know, horny racks, I can't spend whatever, you know, and, like, I'm spending all my money whenever I got to do this, you feel me? And those reinforcements are really powerful to, you know, staying on track and, you know, remembering why you did it and why you started, you feel me? That's more powerful than watching it's like kind of equivalent, I say, watching the Andrew Tate video or David Goggins video about, you know, some masculinity or motivation or whatever, but just have reinforcements, whatever works for you. You know, you might find that watching those videos once in a while helps, but music is a definite thing, and I feel like if you're not, you should get into that. Last thing is the organization and structure. All structure is, you know, organizing your discipline. You feel me? Like I said before, a goal without a plan is just a dream. You feel me? If you want to be in the NBA, and you just talk about it all the time, you have the discipline to train, but you're also not logical, you know, when it comes to how often you should train, when it comes to recovery, what you should eat, what you should put in your body. That's just a dream. You know, you can train all you want, but if you don't have the organized schedule of being logical and actually knowing what to do, you're never going to achieve that. And it's about having the overall structure. My lab professor literally put me onto this 4 weeks ago. Mind you, this dude, like, he like grounds the literature of science, and he makes it seem so easy and so structured. And I'm like, bro, like, you don't just do this by just reading books and listening to professors. You have to actually find your love and find your passion for it and twist it in the way that you learn it. Organizing your day into, you know, increments, you feel me? 1 hour intervals, bro. I'm telling you, it will change your life. I had homies that I told this changed their entire life, and this is the ball that these old rich white dudes know. They just won't tell somebody like you, because of course they won't tell you. For me, if I found out the method, why would I tell you? But for me, I'm doing this for the 26. I don't care how many views I get, but the niggas that actually like want to learn and like I actually want to do this, bro. 1 hour intervals, you feel me? And not wasting time. For example, if you have 3 things to do today, I have to go to the gym, I have to study, and I want to say, what's another thing I have to do? I have to clean my room, okay? You set 1 hour into each literature, you're not wasting time. Because when you go to the gym, you might go there for an hour and 30 minutes or something thinking you tough shit, bro. Like, no, bro. I promise you, the dude that's going in hour intervals, not only will his day be more organized, he'll actually have more gains than the person that spends 3 hours at the gym. I never understood people that spend 3 hours. I'm not judging, but I never understood people who spend 3 hours at the gym or something like that. Like, bro, that's OD. That's crazy. And, like, you'll end up having a better outcome of your day, organizing that time and getting more done. Because, mind you, in that 3 hours, I went ahead, cleaned my room, head back home, studied, and I also went to the gym. Did all that in the span of 3 hours. I want to say a wait time about 30 minutes just for, like, commute. If you got to commute, if you got to go home and do whatever. But mind you, I did all that. You're at the gym for 3 hours straight. Or you're at the gym, you're watching TikTok, you're taking 20-minute TikTok breaks, you sit on the toilet taking a shit for 15 minutes, you know, on your phone scrolling TikTok. You're wasting time, bro. The one thing that has a start time and an end time is your day. The sun's gonna rise, the sun's gonna set. And I feel like that's a natural clock. You feel me? When you have to do it, you know, get up, sleep, and restart. That's the one thing that we know starts and ends is a day. From your life starts, you don't know when it'll end. But you have the one thing that you can take control of is the day. Why don't you maximize the time that you have, bro? And that's so important. And having the first chunk of your day with that work, if you got to do all that stuff in the span of one day, you can, you know, clutter it with that work in the first half of your day. You're going to feel way more productive at the end of the day. You're going to feel like, oh, I got all this stuff done. You feel me? You ever wonder what aura is, bro? Aura is charisma and confidence. You feel me? Like, just overall being different from the normal person. That's why people sense your aura, because you're different. How about you be different by doing all that stuff? You ever see a class syllabus and it's like, yo, you should study 5 hours a day or something like that. Not 5 hours a day, but dedicate 5 hours a week to this particular, you know, class. I see that. I'm like, bro, I'm not, you know, sitting no 5 hours on no desk, but like, bro, that 1 hour a day adds up, bro. 1 hour a day. You can even take the extra mile and do it 1 hour of class, but I do it 1 hour a day, you know, 1 hour a day of study plus the time that I have to do homework. So the time I have to do homework is separate, and then the 1 hour a day of studying. And bro, you'll ace every single exam, bro, if you're generally doing that. Depending on your major, because some majors are hard. I'm a bio major, but you'll ace every single exam, bro, and you'll feel like your time is way more valuable. I always wonder how people be going to the beach and stuff, but always like be having a 90% in the class. I'm like, bro, you stay posting trips on your story and all this stuff, but it's because they figured it out. And of course, they're not gonna tell a nigga, bro. Of course, they're not gonna tell you, bro, because like that's the stuff that some people don't find the importance of really realizing. And it's a lot of stuff in my life that I really looked over and had to understand through experience. Was the fact that I even started this up to even bring you guys the knowledge that I've gained, bro, and just not wasting time, bro. Not wasting time. And in those gaps that you have of free time that you get ultimately by, spreading your day throughout productive increments, you have everything done. You can fill it with fundamental skills, bro. I feel like fundamental skills a man should learn is changing a car tire, bro. Learning a new language or something like that, or learning how to cook. I feel like it's very important to learn how to cook. I've learned, because I've lost weight multiple times in my life, and I just always want to eat the right thing. But learning how to cook, learning how to clean, bro. I feel like a lot of people think they know how to clean when they really don't. And bro, it's a lot of things that you can learn to fill up those time spent instead of wasting time. Yeah. Just overall highlight the importance of all that, and once you have the importance of all that, you can really set yourself a sleep time. Because one thing I think a man needs to control is your sleep, diet, and how much you train. You should have a day where, I train 4 days a week. Don't overdo that, because mind you, you're wasting time. Like I said, person that does it 4 times a week will have more discipline to stay on track than you. He will have more gains than you, and will also have more time throughout his day to do what he wants to do and be good. Sleep is so important too. You hear people say, you got to get 8 hours of sleep, whatever. Like, you don't really understand the importance of that, but sleep is so important, especially on a diet. You bro, feel me? Like, it's a study or something that if you get less hours of sleep, you're more hungry, and that's so true. Because I've had days where I go and I'm supposed to be dieting, eating 2,100 calories a day. And one day I wake up like, bro, I'm craving Raising Cane's, and that's your natural body's, reaction to not having enough sleep. That's why sugar is the energy processor, bro. You craving sugary foods and bad options when you're sleep deprived, rather than when you have a full, set of sleep. You choose the right thing. You choose the chicken. You choose the mashed potatoes. You choose the vegetables. And bro, I didn't really understand that until I made sure I get a window of 10 hours of sleep. I don't sleep 10 hours every night, but I sleep at 11:30 p.m. and I wake up at 9:30 p.m. just because, like, I'm like a growing boy, and I don't know why I need 10 hours of sleep sometimes, bro. But it's having that window. You go to sleep at the same time. You eat the same thing every day. You train the same thing every day. Like, having that overall consistency is what everyone talks about. And I promise you, bro, anybody that negates anything that I'm saying, bro, like, they're just not on their journey, bro. And I feel like nobody even would negate anything that I'm saying. If anything, not negate, but have to add on things, because this is a popular conversation I feel like anyone to talk about. But motivation, structure, discipline, and then structure. Motivation is a spark that you get. You might get it randomly, but find that spark. For me, it was girls at one point. It was my end point of, I guess doing it for people that had to prove wrong. You shouldn't do that, but if that's a motivation start, that can furnish the foundation of discipline. And after discipline is structure. It's putting your discipline into work. You feel me? A goal without a plan is just a dream. I want to end off the video by saying that. You feel me? Thank you for watching. I want to post more descriptive things on how to start. Because as a chubby kid, bro, and I'm still losing weight, by the way. As a chubby kid, I really had to really go through things to really understand them. And I feel like that's harmful. That's good because it teaches you the things, but it wastes a whole lot of time. And exercise ChatGPT too whenever you have a question. But yeah.